pursuant MGL-C 30A, Section 20, hereby informing all attendees that a video and audio recording is being made of the meeting. First up, I will reopen public hearing on our zoning bylaw amendments. Beth, we still have not, we have been carrying this over because we're waiting to hear from the Codes 360 people. And so we have still not heard from them? No. All right.
Do we have a date? Have they committed to a deadline?
No.
No, very vague. They only talk with Chris Britton, and I'm not sure why, but I've reached out and I CC him in all the emails. So hopefully I'll hear from them this week with a date.
Okay. I mean, we still don't have a town meeting set, so we're in limbo there.
But
And-
if we got this from them, we could move forward on it, the whole bundle, right?
We could. Personally, I think I'd like to keep on continuing it so we can stay within that 6 months of town meeting. So we don't have to repost it and everything.
I agree.
We have to submit a report within 6 months of town meeting before. Within
Yes.
6 months before.
Yes, our public hearing has to be within 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah. But I guess I'll take, there was, what was our last meeting or maybe the meeting before? There was some questions that came up about this and we couldn't field them at the time because it was not open to the public. I
Yeah.
believe
Right.
Josh Bloom had a question why we were changing, who decides on sign permits. And I know he'll read this transcript and listen to it. And I'd like to address that. And I believe what we came up with is that it's more on the lines of similar to a building permit. Pretty much every other municipality in the state has their building commissioner doing their sign permits. And it was recommended that we go that route. And it still wouldn't have anything to do with the enforcement. The enforcement would still be the same way. And that's where the issues came up this year. I guess.
Mark, can I
Yeah, go ahead.
supplement? Yeah, I mean, for me, the main thing is that it's a waste of our time, the way we're doing it right now. The questions we ask are always technical questions that within the text of the zoning bylaw, the sign bylaw. It's a question of, is the area shown on the application? Is the area smaller or equal to the allowed size? Is the location shown on the application? Is the location allowed in the zone where it's being proposed? I mean, these are all questions just like building code questions.
Exactly.
And it doesn't require the judgment of a board to answer these questions. And I mean, I don't have any objection to doing work for the town, but there's no reason to hold up a sign permit while we wait for a board to convene when all of the questions are ministerial and can be handled by an enforcement officer or an administrative officer. So those are my reasons.
Yeah, those all go into that, correct. Anybody else have anything to add on that?
No, we still will be, we'll be getting a copy of the sign permit so that we can review it and make sure it's, accurate and
Yeah, we'll be
we're
reviewing.
still going to stay on top of it.
Right. Okay. Another thing that came up, I know Dave Carrington was about our livestock bylaw, I guess you'd call it, and particularly the chickens. And I'd like to, if he hears anything from this, I'd like to tell him that what this bylaw is pertaining to the chickens were basically the backyard chicken phenomena that's going on now. We had to deal with it somehow. Anything over 2 acres is gonna fall in the right to farm bylaws, which are pretty much wide open for that. And I got thinking about it. If somebody really did want to have a rooster, they could probably file for a special permit. And it would be under, a special permit for poultry. And that would be, they could go that avenue if they absolutely felt they had to. And then the neighbors could chime in if they wanted to hear a rooster all the time. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't know where do you get the part about the special permit for a rooster?
We're trying to be nice.
Yeah, and
No, I
Oh,
think
come
that-
on, exception. You must be kidding, exception.
it is. Let's see.
got it
Yeah,
here.
Section C, raising horses, hogs, pigs, poultry, or fur-bearing animals not otherwise allowed in as an agricultural use under the preceding subsection is allowed after obtaining a special permit. So having chickens would be by right up to 10 with no roosters.
I must have the wrong draft. I'm not reading that. Okay, I'll go on the
Yeah.
web.
Here, I'll see. Hope I got this one. Let's see if I can. I don't know. What do you think if somebody came in?
I like it the way it was. Yeah, I think if someone comes in, then we'll have to deal with it.
That's the one I have, Peter. Does that look right?
What's the date on the heading on that? Can you show me that? Really, the question is really ought to be asked to Beth. Is this the official draft, Beth? Do you know?
Well, I think it is because we changed from 10 chickens to 10 poultry.
Oh, yeah.
Remember
yeah,
after
yeah.
Gail?
Okay,
That's right. I think you're right, Buck.
okay, good. I just wasn't looking at the latest draft, I guess.
I think this is.
April
know,
27th. Huh.
Yeah,
Hey,
that doesn't, well, I know we worked on it after that. The email I pulled it from was in August.
Okay, so I think what happens is when I work on something, I change the file name to include the current date. But if somebody else works on it, they don't do that necessarily. So it's probably a later draft than April 27th.
I would say so.
It is. I think it's in August.
Okay, good. I think that's about right. I mean, the only hesitation I have is that in Massachusetts, the special permit process is so cumbersome and so rigid and so expensive that, that's going to be like a $500 rooster,
Wow.
I think that if someone wants a rooster in one of those, well, in certain zones, I think we have to be protective of the abutters.
Yeah.
I'm going to agree with you.
It can be a nuisance, and I don't think anyone really wants a rooster waking up to a rooster every morning, but
No, I agree, Matt. I wonder if we should put in that, a rooster is allowed in RB or.
Yeah, I'm gonna,
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, folks, I have to interrupt.
Oh,
I could see in residential, residential zoning, you may not want them, but in agricultural and business, part of the reason we have our houses, there's a notice that should be around town hall that goes with the right to farm bylaw that states that anybody who buys property has to put up with farming, which is noisy, smelly, dirty, all kinds of things. This is what that zoning law says. And you cannot have a flock of roosters without a flock of chickens without a rooster. Not if
Sure
you're
you
doing
can.
it correctly.
Sure you can.
No, you can't. Not if you're doing it correctly. Who of you has chickens? Who of you
I
has
do.
chickens?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, Buck, then you know.
Yeah.
That if you well, I'll sing my song if you'd like. There's a whole song about this. But hens do better with a rooster. They do.
It's-
They just do. They'll lay
I've
eggs.
seen it. I don't agree with it. Yeah, I've seen coops with a rooster and it's not a pretty sight a lot of times. The hens are
Don't do it right.
fertilized,
If you don't
um,
do it right.
I guess. You don't
And
need
what
them
are you
though.
going to do with all of us? And there are, I know of 3 or 4 people who have roosters.
Mhm.
You're going to outlaw it? What do we do with our roosters? I mean,
You will be able to keep them for now. And if you want to keep them in the
I'll be what?
future, huh? If you want to keep them in the future, you would have to probably
I couldn't
apply
hear
for a
you.
special permit. Okay,
That will cost $500?
probably.
You're
Yes.
cutting out on,
Well, now hold on, this is not the right to farm. This is small lots that this is intended for, not over the 2 acres right to farm, where right to farm kicks in. Okay,
yeah,
Chair.
but a lot of us don't, a lot of us are farming on less. I'm farming. I mean, you may think my lot is small, but any of you who know my house know I'm farming. And I am feeding
Yeah.
myself responsibly and organically on what I am farming.
Mhm.
And so you're sitting there and saying, oh, well, you're not rich enough to have 5 acres. And come
No,
on,
that's the law. That's the law.
I've worked
Two-
hard for 45 years.
Right to farm kicks in at 2 acres.
Well, I've only got half an acre.
I know.
And the Sansinis don't have much more than that. And the Tristanis don't, or the
Right.
Tisdales don't. But
Correct.
we all have chickens. We all take care of them. The chickens are very important to us.
And Caroline, there has been issues. That's why we were forced to write something like this.
Okay. Want some issues, do you? It's agricultural if you grow marijuana, but it's not agricultural if you have chickens. And anybody who complains about it hasn't been in my yard in the recent times when the traffic and the noise and the people peeing across the street in the gin mill that used to be there. Nobody seems to think there's anything wrong with that, but my rooster crowing
Yep. Yes, you're
is
right.
is
Yes, it
these
bothers people.
poor sensitive
It bothers
city
people.
people.
No,
They're
it's not
city
only city
people.
people. No, it wasn't. Just Tisdale had, her issue with the neighbor was with a longtime resident. You know that.
Yes, but he wasn't complaining about the crowing. He was complaining about the chickens getting into his
The
garden.
number of them that she had, yes. She had a lot of them and still does. Yeah.
Well, I've been over there. I didn't see so many, but okay.
Well, at one time
And they were
she did.
getting into his garden, and
Yep.
I'm afraid, and I must say that were I in the Tisdale's position with that, I would have gone to Mr. Bossy and I've said, gee, Mr. Bossy, really sorry. Let's see where your garden is. We will put up a fence for you. You know, there could have been other ways to handle that. when I got my chickens, which was quite a long while ago, I went to the people who are not exactly neighbors because I couldn't scream at my house and they would hear me. But I went to them and I said, if the chickens bother you, let me know. Well, they all say that they can't hear the chickens unless they're on
Right.
their way to work at 6 o'clock in the morning when they're outside. And most of them say they like to hear my chickens.
I have
Um,
the same experience, Caroline. I have the same experience. We have the chickens, you know? We have had people with roosters in more populated areas of town, neighborhoods, and it has been a problem.
But are they zoned business agricultural?
No. But we do not have business agricultural, by the way.
I think that's
That
what
is
my
not a
zoning
zone.
is.
No, it's not.
What is it then?
I believe your zone might be residential business, RB,
Nope.
or rural
There's
business.
nope, there's an A.
Okay,
I am agricultural. I am. And
Residential agricultural possibly?
maybe it's something like that. I thought it was business and agricultural because I have four,
No, we
count 'em,
don't.
four auto
don't
repair
raise your
shops
voice.
within walking distance. So they can have businesses here and they can be loud, dirty, naughty businesses. I can't have a rooster?
no,
Can we determine what the zone is, please?
RB.
770
Actually,
775 Maple
wait a
Street.
minute, I'm looking. Trying to see on the map here.
Well, I've got my map unless you have a different map.
Holy cow.
I am between Route 20 and the Turnpike, and you're going to complain about a rooster?
I'm not we're, you know,
No, we're not complaining. No one is. I mean, we're just,
not right now, but we needed to deal with this, and this is what we came up with.
Mm-mm.
Carolyn, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What makes you believe that you currently have a right to have chickens and a rooster?
Because I'm feeding myself.
There you go.
Did you look at the zoning bylaw to determine whether that's
There was no zoning bylaw on it.
when you started doing this?
No, this is why,
I've had
This is-
them. I've had them for a long time, many years.
this is
And
why we're
RA,
doing,
isn't that, RA is
Right
residential?
there.
Right.
Yeah, RA 40,
yeah,
correct.
I'm in agriculture.
It,
it's residential, it's residential.
residential agriculture 40,
Mhm.
correct.
Yes, just the same as the farm, as Dave's farm up the road is also RA. That's our zoning.
Yep. But you have less than 2 acres,
Yes.
Caroline. So if you had 10 birds, you'd be fine, okay?
I've had 11, but, and several of
Well,
them.
I
are
don't think anybody would bother you with that, you know?
Carolyn, the only reason I ask you this question is that I have been under the impression that what we are doing here is authorizing for the first time in a formal way, people having chickens,
Mhm.
not trying to cut back on it. We're trying to make it
Exactly.
legal because it hasn't been legal up to now.
It hasn't been? Where does it
No.
say that?
Can I just finish, please? Can I just finish? Unless you are eligible for the farm exemption, which it doesn't sound like maybe you are because you don't have enough land. So,
No,
what I thought we were doing was liberalizing the zoning to allow a reasonable agricultural use. And there's places in town where I can see a few chickens wandering around the yard and not doing any harm. And so I couldn't see any reason why we should have a bylaw that prohibits it. So that's what we've been trying to do. But the problem is with the roosters, and everybody has a story about a rooster that woke them up one time. And but I wonder, to my fellow board members, whether we should consider allowing a rooster in RA without a special permit. I just
When,
think
when,
500.
when are these,
Go
when
ahead,
are these
you
people
interrupt
going to
again.
start complaining about the coyotes howling all night?
That's not the issue, Carolyn.
Isn't
I
it?
just-
I mean, if my rooster
I give up.
crowing,
I give up.
Mr. Chair, point of order.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Matt.
Can we
My
talk,
hand-
can we talk amongst the board now and
Yes,
keep it?
please. Yep.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. But, I mean, Peter, you can finish if you want, but I was along the same lines as Peter. I'm sorry, I actually don't, same lines as Buck. I think that we have to protect our RA. I'm an RA. And I have an acre, 1.4 or whatever, and I don't think my neighbors would appreciate waking up to a rooster. So I'm all for the attempt to have a rooster, but I think it has to go through the process so we can hear from the abutters if they want to be heard. In an area that's I don't know Caroline's exact neighbors or surrounding, but she's in RA, so I'm assuming she has neighbors. She's got a half an acre. Well, we're not protecting the abutters or giving the abutters a chance right now to speak. She just has a rooster. So I think I think we should definitely make people I don't think we should allow them in RA. I think we should make people come in front of us because a rooster is a big issue for neighbors. And I think we have to protect the neighbors' right to peaceful occupation of their home. And so that's how I feel about it. So. Now, would Caroline, the other question I want to ask, would Caroline be grandfathered?
For sure. Yeah.
Okay, so it really wouldn't affect her then.
so I
No.
can have roosters because I've always had roosters.
Correct.
Well, if she had roosters before 1975,
She
Well,
probably, yeah.
No,
Before
I
this,
bought the house in 76.
So
I've
before this,
had chickens since about
Yeah.
95.
before this bylaw was created, she's had roosters. So therefore, she's
Mhm.
probably grandfathered, so it doesn't even affect her. I don't
Correct.
believe.
And that would be true of the Sonsinis and the Tisdales as well, right?
yes.
I don't know if I agree with that, Matt. I think the question, before you can reach that
But I
conclusion,
think at some point,
you have to. Go ahead, Peg, interrupt. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
no, my hand has been up, I believe. My hand's up, isn't it?
Okay,
Is my hand up?
it is.
Yeah, it has been, Peter, for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, I know. I was just in the middle of a sentence.
I'm
when
not
you-
interrupting you.
I'm done,
If I
I'm
could
done.
just say, Caroline, that when this whole thing started, I got to admit, I didn't think we had as many chickens in town. I'm talking about 2 or 3 years ago when it started and people. So then as we went around and I looked at many houses, there are many people in town that have chickens and it works out very, very well. And I do agree with the fact, the reason we started to do this was because up until now, if someone complained, we had nothing to say, okay, you've got chickens. So we're trying to make it better. I understand your feelings about the rooster. But I do believe that I do tend, this time, I agree with Matt, that if you're in certain neighborhoods, it can become upsetting to people if they're trying to sleep.
And I agree with that, but
And-
not in an agricultural area.
But
Okay,
Look at,
so again, maybe we can try to get the bylaw passed, and then if there is an issue, people would have to come before us. And I don't think any of your neighbors are going to complain. I can't speak for them, but I don't think they ever have, right?
No, of course not. As a matter of fact, it's the opposite. They like
Right.
my roof.
Right. So I think for you, it's probably going to be fine, but again, others, it may not be So fine. So I just want you to realize it's not that we're trying to make it better for people that, you know, do want to raise and have eggs and do things like that, because so many people, I was really amazed at how many people in town do have chickens once I started investigating it, because up until then, we couldn't have anybody having chickens, and then we knew that a lot of people did. So anyways, that's part of our story on this. Thank
The
you.
other thing, the reason I got chickens was not originally for the eggs. I got them because they eat ticks and they eat Japanese beetles.
Oh,
I haven't seen a Japanese beetle since I put my first chicken down, and I see no ticks on me, occasionally on my dog, but no, they eat those like popcorn. They go right out. And my next door neighbor, Greg Jascalian, and his wife want my chickens over there eating their ticks because Ariane, Greg's wife, has had anaplasmosis from a tick she got in her yard. She has no idea where or how she did it. And she wants my chickens over there. So there's a lot going on. Now, the eggs are great, but not having ticks is a big deal.
It is. And
Of
please
course.
understand, like Peter said, we created this to expand so people could have chickens, not to restrict it. Without this, it's a very tough issue. If somebody has chickens, they possibly can be taken away. Once we get this enacted, then this is giving them the right to have them. You know, we were trying to expand it, not restrict it, but we did realize there had to be a few rules in there too.
Well, then a rule allowing people who want to have a rooster to have some way of doing it without it costing them, pretty much a poorer person's Social Security payment a month,
Then just have chickens.
to just let them have a rooster.
But why?
Why?
They can have chickens without having the possible issues that come along with a rooster.
The rooster is the most brave,
Yes. I know that.
self-sacrificing creature on the face of this earth. Some of my hens were saved because my roosters jumped out in front of the bobcat.
Yeah.
You know, come on. It's
So Caroline, you are grandfathered, so you don't have to worry. Really? Is that well, at least that's
well,
what
yes,
I think.
I mean, that's good for me. And I
So-
appreciate that. And I really do appreciate what you guys are doing. And I do understand what you're trying to get through here. I mean, I'm a country girl. I grew up in a town that made Lee look like a thriving metropolis.
Mr. Chair, Peter wants to.
Yeah, please, can I get to Peter,
wanted to
please,
speak.
Caroline? Peter?
Yeah, I wanted to explain to Carolyn and for the record that Lee is charging so much for special permits because this Massachusetts statutes have a very rigid structure. You either have an allowed use or you have a special permit. If you have a special permit, there's certain notice requirements, and those include 2 weekly publications in the newspaper of record, which is the Berkshire Eagle. And that costs almost $500. So we have 2 tools available to us. One is just let it go and hope it works out, which would be a permitted use. And the other one is look at it before it actually gets established. And that's very expensive and time consuming and regrettable in my view, but I don't see there's anything we can do about it. There's no middle choice that I'm aware of. And again, as I started to say before Peg cut in, I was having some doubts about whether this is a pre-existing non-conforming use, because I'm not sure that the roosters and the chickens are illegal today. And so that would be a
Oh.
prerequisite to claiming grandfatherhood.
Oh,
Thank
good
you.
point. Good point.
Matt,
Mr. Chair,
we'll get to Kathy Hall.
yeah, good point, Peter. You swayed me on that. I think you might be right. Uh, the special permit fee, I actually think it's a good time to mention this. I think we should, look at addressing that cost again. We lowered it to 500, which was great. But actually it could be less expensive. We did 500 to give us a little room. Cause our last, administrative assistant or town manager, didn't invoice it direct, exactly. So we rounded off. I think, Beth, could actually keep track of the cost of the mailing and the ads more accurately and do a running total. And what we could do is just, something like a deposit of $150 and then a final payment, after Beth knows the cost of everything. And I think at times it might cost under $400 for people. So I think maybe that's something we should adjust.
That's still a lot for a 1 pound rooster.
Well, it's better than
It's-
500.
And it's a lot, and if it's a lot for somebody who's older or living on a fixed income or lower
Yeah.
income, who's
I just don't
who's
think we can-
desperately
I don't think-
trying to feed themselves.
We can waive these fees too, Carolyn.
Right.
In the case of extreme need, we sometimes waive them, don't we, Buck? Don't we do that?
I
I don't know if we waived an, I don't know if we waived an
I
application.
haven't recalled.
I think our bylaw allows us to waive it. I'll look it up.
The new one might, Peter.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, I think the new one would. Yes.
So
The
vote
current
for a
one,
new
no.
one, Carolyn.
One further suggestion, and then I will literally leave you alone because I think you know what I feel, and I know I'm not alone in that. That don't you think this should be run by the Agricultural Commission? Before you do anything, talk to the people in town who are supposed to be looking at this.
This is not agriculture. This is backyard stuff. Is what we were looking at here. Agriculture is already covered.
Yeah, especially if you're growing marijuana.
Well, no, if you're growing, if you are involved in agriculture, the amount that you have to do is higher than than an acre is going to produce.
That's true. No,
Mhm.
no, most of us who are doing it on these small levels are doing it to feed ourselves. In my case,
Then
I
you are
wanted
not
to
doing
agriculture.
agriculture. Agriculture is for, you are making money on it, is the definition of agriculture.
Okay, feeding yourself is feeding yourself,
It is, right. So
which I think is very basic.
that is, agreed. Yeah. Can I go to Kathy
Some
Hall? Are
people-
you all?
Eat chickens too. I don't, but some people do.
Oh, I know. Yes.
You probably do.
I've been involved over on Stockbridge Road in that, they do a lot of meat birds over there, and it's quite a process. Kathy Hall?
Hi, thank you. I'm sitting here, I'm listening to this and my blood pressure is rising because I don't know if it was in the town of Lee or somewhere else, but many, many years ago, when I was a youngster, and that's many years ago, a child was bitten by a rooster, got lockjaw and died. And that might be why there's an issue about roosters in our particular town or a town close by. I know many, many years ago, over 50 years ago, my father had a chicken coop in our backyard. I don't even remember how many chickens. I just know that I don't eat chicken anymore because it was like just psychological thing in my head of, chickens, their little necks being broken and feathers all over the place and that kind of stuff. But nonetheless, may I just suggest, because this has been going on for 35 minutes now, is that you might want to table this and look over some of your stuff, Peter, you've done a great, fabulous job in working on these bylaws. Maybe there could be something that's tweaked there, or certainly.
Tell us how. It's
I
a
don't know.
yes or no, Kathy. You
If
know,
you give me some time, I'll figure it out.
we gave we have an option installed if people want it. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm afraid we're gonna go to town meeting and you guys are gonna want everything tabled, and that just,
No,
it's been way
no.
too much work.
I don't want it no, I don't want it at
Yeah.
the town meeting. I'm just saying, right now, for this discussion, maybe look at it again and just kind of, if you have to tweak it, or say, yeah, if you want roosters, then they have to be within a certain parameter. They have to be in a coop, that they can't be walking around free. That type of thing. You're gonna have less problems with neighbors.
It's about the noise, Kathy.
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
That's why we did it.
It's not that you're right. Chickens can be, you're right. Roosters can be aggressive with people they don't know. So can my dog, and so can a goose, and so can a lot of other animals. They
So
are.
at this
And-
point, I just wanted to say that I knew just one little tidbit of history, and I'm not even sure if it's 100%. You know, I'm older now. This probably happened 60 years ago. But to my recollection, that was something that happened. So
Well, I've
with-
gotten
I'm just,
infection from being scratched by a rooster. You're absolutely right about that.
but at any rate, I just wanted to voice that segment. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Peter,
Yeah,
you muted
Kathy's
yourself.
comment made me think about an idea. In the current bylaw, we have some animals allowed within, but they have to be kept from a certain distance from the boundary.
Yeah.
I think it might be 300 feet or something like that for horses.
It is, the
certain
current one
zones.
is yes.
Pigs.
So I wonder if there is a rooster, boundary that, would allow a rooster in an RA zone, provided it's kept, 200 feet from the boundary and in a shed. I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to be creative here to avoid this $400, $500 thing for a rooster that weighs a couple of pounds. It seems like it's way too big a piece of machinery to get engaged for a little thing like a bird.
Well, for people that really want it and they don't have it yet, it's your choice. If it's worth
right.
it. That's the way I
I don't-
see it.
I don't see anybody else on the board going my way on this, so I'll yield and just, we're gonna postpone this for further consideration anyway, Buck, right?
Right.
You're correct, yeah.
No, we could bring it up again another time, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll work on you all privately.
Me too, please, Peter.
Call me Carolyn if you want and talk to
Okay.
me about it.
All right.
You got
And
my
I'm
number?
sorry to bug you guys, because I know you're working
No.
hard. I've been on committees and commissions ever since I've lived in Lee. I know how hard this is.
We're trying to do the right thing here with limited tools, I think is what's happening.
And,
Yeah.
and Carolyn, believe us, we, this is here because we want people to have the chickens.
Mhm.
Because right now it's
Right,
not sure if it's legal,
right.
So,
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate your time.
right.
I really do. Thank you.
okay,
Thanks.
thank you. Anything else, folks? Okay, at this moment then, I'm gonna close the public hearing on, or
Are you-
Continue it
Continue.
rather than,
continue it. I'll
wanna
continue it.
Do you want a motion, Buck, or how does that work?
I'm looking for a date right now.
Thanks.
You want to just do it to the next meeting, the 22nd?
Uh,
Then we
no,
then we can open it up and just discuss anything we might want
I
to,
think-
but whatever you want.
I think maybe the 13th, the one after that,
Sure, whatever you think.
or is that putting it too far out?
I'm fine with it.
So I'm fine.
Okay,
I thought we might have something in writing for this meeting since the last time
Let me second.
Beth, would you tell Chris that at least one board member is getting impatient with Code 360? I mean, we spent a lot of time on this at Code 360's insistence and at Chris's initiation, and we've lost a whole year of presentation and presenting this to the town because they're not giving us what we've asked them for. Maybe they have good reasons, but I do think they could commit to a deadline and let us know what it is.
Actually, let's continue this to the next meeting, the 22nd.
Of November?
Yes.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we continue the public hearing to November 22nd, 2021 on the bylaws.
Second.
Any more discussion?
Is there
Hearing
any
none.
idea that you need to set a specific time? I think Gordon thought we needed to do that last time. I don't know if it's required or not.
All right, I'll add at 6 PM, if that's acceptable, or 6:15, whatever you guys think.
6 sounds good.
Okay, that's 6 PM. Thank you.
Okay, hearing no more discussion, roll call vote. Peg,
Bye.
Peter,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Buck, aye. We'll bring this back up, and hopefully anybody with concerns can either email us questions, whatever. We keep on doing the public hearing, and I just I want everything concluded by the time we hit town meeting, but
Well,
I'm not sure.
I think this is good that we have a continuous every meeting
Yeah.
because it allows people to come in and actually ask questions. It
Right.
gives them a number of meetings to make and come in and ask questions. And if they don't, then we, can say that to them. Hey, we continue this meeting every 2 weeks or every, put it on our agenda. Where were you?
Mhm.
Should we be trying harder to contact agricultural people?
I mean, if you want to get involved, you get involved, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we sent notices to every board, right?
yes. And see, that's the thing with this one is it's the agricultural board, they deal with anything a little bit bigger. And what Carolyn was talking about is really not agriculture.
Yeah.
So
I sent it to a board member on the ag culture a year ago in its infancy, I think. And I'm not saying that means that they read it and did everything, but I did send it.
yeah,
Okay, just a question. Thank you.
if anybody else wants to see an impact also, take a ride over on Marble Street and pull into Brown Memorial Court. And you got to see the house that sits between Brown and Clark Court in there. It's quite a sight. Even, I don't know even how it's not a health hazard, but it
I
seems
was
to be.
just over there, but
You didn't notice it?
I must have not been looking.
Yeah, look at the house, just as you pull into Brown on your right-hand side.
Is it the entrance towards West Park or the entrance after?
Entrance after, the
Okay.
second one. Yeah, the
Oh, yeah,
bigger
you
parking
said
lot.
Park. Yeah. Wasn't it a family house for a long time?
It is a family house, but they gotta have, I think, 30, 40 chickens out there. All sorts of dogs, animals, it's something else.
So the question is, once we put this bylaw, let's say this bylaw goes into effect next year,
Yeah,
what happens to the current people that have too many chickens and roosters?
I don't think anything unless there's a complaint, and then there will be something for the enforcement officer to go back on.
Gotcha.
Right,
Still has to be a complaint from a non-board member.
Same
right.
thing, yeah, same as what we had.
Yeah.
No way, that could change now. That might be totally thrown out. It might just be a complaint now. We'll see.
Okay,
Oh, boy.
Yeah, where's, sign permit, 241 Main Street, Beth? I'm not seeing that on. In the, oh, here, what is this? In the permit eyes here.
I found it, Buck, on the second page, I think.
Oh, okay, that's where I'm headed, getting there.
Did you go under sign permits, Buck, or did you do all of them?
I got all of them here.
Oh, go up there and separate it by sign permits. It's much easier.
Okay, I found it here. Oh,
What?
this is, wait till you see. Told ya.
Okay.
Exxon Mobil, boy, she didn't waste any time doing this, huh?
Yeah, I know.
Ah,
No, not at all.
I don't have any problem with these. I don't even have problem with all the extra lettering they do. I don't know. I guess I've come around to all the
Yeah,
gas stations look, when they do them over, they look nice. I mean, they really do a professional job on them.
they do now that they're not even really gas stations anymore. They're, small
Yeah.
grocery stores and food store. It's really different.
Right.
That's true.
I just think they keep finding new ways to distract drivers and make them people look at their places with brighter colors and larger structures and, more lights on the roof. And
Mhm.
I mean, it's all makes perfectly good commercial sense, but I don't think it enhances the town to let them just go wild on whatever, distractions and bright red things that they ever want to put there.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get the other side. The lights, though, I say, the lights they put on are really, I think, for a safety. They're
Yeah,
always very,
well,
they're always very downcast lighting.
the downlights onto the platform where you pump the gas are safety, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the lights on the roof over the platform, what do you call that thing overhead? The floating
Canopy.
canopy.
The
The
canopy.
lights on the edge of the canopy, that doesn't add safety, does it? That just adds visibility to
Yeah.
somebody driving by who might pull in and buy gas.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think we got to update this whole thing, and I'm just in favor of approving this unless there's something
Agreed.
really wrong with it. And then when we redo the bylaw, we should let them, we definitely need to let them do LED lighting because we've been allowing that.
Yeah.
And maybe we need to allow them to put, bright, big 8-foot bullseyes on top of their pumps or whatever the next thing is that they're going to want. Maybe we need to allow that too. I think that's something we can discuss when we do the bylaw.
They have
The,
TV screens in there now.
Yeah.
The digital, if you mean the LED, but I like the digital things because they don't have to go out and change them by hand. They just change them inside and they all change and they're all,
Right.
I like those.
We're kind of out of date. We're out of date for not allowing that, I think.
Yeah.
They're a cleaner look, I think. It's cleaner looking than the old, the stick-on
Yeah.
cards. Yeah. That half the time are falling off and
Have grease smeared over them and
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a motion to endorse?
Motion to endorse. Is this mobile? What's the name of this company?
Yeah, Mobile Exxon,
Mobile Exxon.
Exxon
motion
Mobil, yeah.
Exxon, yeah, motion to endorse the Exxon Mobil sign for Main Street, Lee. Is it 241 Main Street?
251.
No, it says 241.
241 Main Street.
You're right. Mine's
Second.
Sorry for that messy motion.
Hearing a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Peg,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Buck, aye. Okay. Let me see. The next one, I was trying to figure out. Let me get to it.
Oh, 55 Housatonic.
Yeah. They had a lot of documents to this. This is Starbucks. And I'm just trying to get the one that shows it.
Starbucks, 55 Housatonic. Is that Starbucks?
Oh, you know
I think
what?
Grampy's.
No,
That's
you're
the
right.
old Grampy's, I think, Buck.
Okay, well, there is a
Alex.
sign permit pending for, sorry,
Oh, for Starbucks?
there
Ooh.
is.
Oh, wow. Well, 55 Housatonic has a sign that's been up for a long time, 40% wine off. Are they remodeling there, or did we get that a while ago, or no? Is that my imagination?
I went in to try it, or my wife did, and it was a pretty small selection. That was 40%.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. I'm not, yeah, I got you, Peter. That used to be really an interesting place though, once, years ago. It was nice. They used to sell boar's head cold cuts. It was nice. Christie's owned it. It's called Christie's. Anyways,
Okay, yes, there, let me see here. Huh. All right, so.
Anybody know any songs?
our buddy David Grover passed. Makes me so sad.
Tell me about David Grover. I don't think I ever knew about him.
Oh, he's a great guy. He used to sing all these lovely songs for young people, and
Oh,
very, very nice person. And
I heard it on the news.
yeah, he was very interesting. He was originally with Arlo Guthrie and Shenandoah, and
Oh,
it was really quite an interesting, he was a Muppet. He played it for Bill Clinton at the White House, and he loved music and loved children, and he'll be missed.
Okay. So
Sicko.
here's Sicko.
Wow. Lead? Okay.
This is on their canopy.
I don't know. You tell me now. I gotta look
Yep.
at this.
This is what
Okay.
their front of canopy.
All right.
And it's gonna be 88 by 21.
Okay. Mm. Is that allowed? DCBC. Hmm.
So I come up with 12.775 feet, square feet.
So 88 by 21 is more than that, right?
No, that's what it is.
Oh, okay, that's what it is then?
Yeah, and I'm trying, what is the, what are they allowed?
Buck, what page you on?
I'm not yet.
Oh,
I just did the measurement. I gotta.
88 by 21. 1275. 10. Wow.
Section C, canopy signs. In addition to building signs and freestanding signs, a gas station may have a canopy sign on a gas station canopy with a permit. Canopy signs shall not exceed 20 square feet per side. May be located on not more than 2 sides of the canopy. If a canopy is used as a price pod location, 10 square feet may be used for the logo. So they're not using it as price pod, just the logo. So it looks like they're under the 20 square feet.
I move we endorse the sign.
second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none. This is on the canopy sign. Peg,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
and Buck, aye. I was trying to look. They say, they talk about an eyebrow lighting system. I'll show you guys this. I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, that's all there is.
So
I think this is gonna be lighting that sign is what it looks like, which
Yeah,
is allowed there.
says not more than 1,500 lumens though.
Let's see, 5 mountains, 515,
Oh, wait a minute.
5 modules per foot. The fixture output is 515 lumens per foot. Hmm,
How wide is the sign?
88 inches, so 7.5 feet.
So that's almost 4,000 lumens.
Our bylaw might be outdated maybe again, but it does say no more than a total of 1,500 lumens.
Where's
right,
that, Matt?
I've got it under illumination standards.
Oh, yeah.
yeah. 'Cause
F,
Yeah. We enforced that with, I think maybe someplace, I forget where, a
But
couple of years
no.
ago.
I don't think we've done much on canopy signs, just freestanding signs. This is gonna be the canopy.
Well,
do we have it separate? Do we have a separate bylaw for that?
No,
Where's the
so,
section on the total lumens, Matt?
It's F.
What
I'm
page?
looking on general code. So it's
Oh.
7.4 F. 1. 7.4 F1. Now, it doesn't state CBC in that first paragraph, but in the next one, number 2, it does say something about
Yeah.
CBC, but
yeah, but it says freestanding or wall signs.
you're right.
hmm. Well,
I'm going back to the 1,500.
Going to be lit up like the Kennedy Space Center, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna be any more than any of the other ones.
well, yeah, okay.
I know this is where it gets tough. We just don't know.
and once it's up, it's up.
Because
really-
they're all illuminated from behind.
Oh,
The mobile, the shell.
You know, what we need is probably a picture of
yeah,
a comparison sicko to show us, at least something like that. Because
So I guess I want to withdraw my motion because it looks like this is 3 or 4 times more light than is allowed in the bylaw.
did you already make a motion on the canopy sign?
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I thought it was
Well,
just. I thought. I'm
Oh.
sorry. I thought it was on.
Oh, this is a separate thing?
Well, I guess it's.
yeah, but that was part of it. I don't,
oh,
this is defining what I'm sorry, I thought this was a separate sign, but it is part of that same. If we look at the bylaw, it says on externally illuminated lighting shall not be more than 1,500 lumens.
Yeah.
And then it goes into, we really don't have a lumen standard on internally illuminated.
This is not internally illuminated. This is
I think it is.
illuminated externally from above. Internally illuminated would be LEDs or something that lights up, where the numbers light up or the letters light up. This is a painted sign that has a spotlight on it, an LED
I don't
spot.
think so.
Well,
They're recessed fixtures. They're gonna be part of the canopy.
yeah, but so what? What does that matter? Whether they're on the ground or in the canopy, they're still shining light on those letters.
They're not directly visible unless standing under the fixture. Well, I guess we need them to come in and explain it.
Yeah,
I like that.
it goes around the edge of it and illuminates the canopy, is what it does.
I
The
think
sign.
we got to work on these standards because I don't think it really matters as much how bright the light is that's casting the light, as much as it matters how much is coming back off the sign, how much
Yeah,
reflected light is coming off the sign, the intensity and the size. I don't know how to fix it exactly, but I don't think we're turning the right knob yet.
No, we definitely don't have a great handle on it for sure. I think I need more explanation from the person because it's too hard to dissect without some feedback from the applicant.
Or maybe, as you said, if they have it somewhere else, they could take a picture even and
Yeah.
send it to us, and we could look at it just for reference.
And there's no drawing that shows us how the
No.
eyebrow lighting is going to be
No.
positioned on the sign.
On the Sitco sign, does it show it being recessed into the canopy?
on.
Because if it was recessed with the lights right over the top of it to illuminate the sign and they shine directly at the ground, I think it would be a little easier for us to understand what's going on with it.
I
Sounds
do
like you,
too.
sounds like you, I think you got how it's going to be, Dave. Sounds like that's the way it's going to be.
Because the lights will only be in the area of the sign itself.
yeah, here we go. Look at this. Here's the LEDs right here behind the sign.
Is this a horizontal view or a vertical view? Oh, section. Okay, so we're looking
Yeah.
sideways.
Yeah,
And it's shining through
through the
translucent
face,
plastic.
translucent, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So we don't care how bright it is inside a sign like that, right? I mean,
No,
what matters is how bright it is to the world looking at the outside of the sign.
yeah, and here's how they illuminate them right here.
Yep.
Okay,
So, Buck, I would say if we're going to bring him in, let's ask him to give us a light reading on the whole sign as seen from the outside.
and give us some real pictures of what we're looking at,
Yeah.
Right.
okay?
I'd love that.
Well, while we're talking, I'm looking up light bulbs on Amazon. And in the old incandescent light bulb, the 100-watt light bulb that was really bright, those are running about 1,000 lumens. Some 800, some 1020
Yep.
lumens. So think, 275-watt bulbs is what our standard allows. That's not much light,
It isn't. No,
especially for
And
a
that-
gas station on a highway.
well, but that is when it's shining up onto a sign. We
Yeah,
really
yeah.
we don't specify how much is behind it,
right.
That's usually
No.
not that bright.
Well, I mean, I don't care what the brightness is inside the sign. If they have a
Right.
heavy plastic dark front on it, they need a lot of light to get the light through it. It's really the question of how much is coming out, not what
Mhm.
goes into the front face.
It's probably fine, but it'd be good to just see it, I guess.
Yeah.
So is that what we'll do? We'll hold on this one? Because I do think we got two different things here. I think this is their illumination for this sign. But I also think that other one is a trim light around the entire canopy.
Oh,
It
Yeah.
might be interesting to see.
just to make the blue visible or whatever the color is.
Yes. I think that's what it is. And that's pretty common with you look at the other gas stations, I think are doing it. Let's see.
Hard to decide without being able to see a visual of it.
Yeah,
So you want a motion, Buck, or can we just do it by consensus that they'll come in and explain this to us?
Yeah.
all?
I think by consensus, Beth, could we just resent or hold on that last vote also? And get them in and some better pictures of what they're trying to do here.
Yeah, so in permit eyes, there's a little section where we can write and send them a note
Oh,
and
yeah.
tell them what we're requesting, and then I will personally follow up and make sure they submit what we want, what we ask for.
Okay,
Picture of another Sitco sign
Right.
would be great if they could do that.
What do we think about the blue strip or whatever the color is around the
I,
cloud there? Is that part of the sign or is that just light on the building?
I think that's just lighting.
Yeah, okay. So if they don't put any letters on it, they can make it as bright as they want?
A lot of outside lights are. Have you driven by Bob Denley's place?
I haven't noticed. He's got spotlights on everything.
Oh my
probably.
God, he does.
Yeah,
Blinded by the light.
yeah. Nice historic New England town that we are.
Yeah.
oh, well, all right. Okay,
I'm just writing on this. Please give us more information on how the lighting will look, I guess.
And the amount of light emitted by the sign to the outside world, the number of lumens.
Okay,
How about asking them for a picture of an existing lighting
Yeah.
system using the same one so we can see it in the dark?
right. That would be great.
so I have, please give us some information on how the lighting will look and amount of light emitted by the sign. A picture of an existing example, please.
Perfect.
Great.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's pending, but Starbucks has their sign permit
Oh.
up here.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
They've been working down there.
Oh, what a mess.
It
What do you
is a
think of
mess.
that job site, Dave?
You're absolutely, you said it already. What a mess.
Boy, if you PM'd on that, if you were PM on that, you'd
Oh,
be making them clean it up.
well, there's way too much going on in one time. That's all.
Yeah. Well, you can
Yeah.
always smooth out your piles at the end of the day, I always thought.
That's right.
Um,
Oh,
But we are all waiting for them to get started. Now they've
Yeah.
started in a great big way.
boy, they have.
yeah. They
You don't
have-
know what to get when you're driving by. There's so much.
If you don't mind me changing the subject a bit, have we got an opening of the Eagle Mill? Is there a scheduled, digging the first shovel full of dirt or anything like that?
Isn't there a ribbon cutting Wednesday?
Yeah,
At 11, right?
Who's going? You all going?
Nah.
I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I
As
probably
far as,
will.
as far as I'm concerned, that's probably the only shovel of dirt that's gonna be moved, so I don't know if I wanna go.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Don't
no.
say- Don't say
You're on the
that.
record, Dave.
Oh,
Hey, here we go, folks. Look at this.
all right, let's see.
Where'd we go here? Come on. Ooh.
Oh, my goodness.
What's wrong with that picture, folks?
Wow. Starbucks.
That's a classic roof sign right there, isn't it?
Hmm.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Wow. Well,
It's a low eave, but it's a roof sign.
Yep. Yep, so we'll see how that goes.
So
Moving
will
on.
somebody tell them that before we get it? I mean, or do they have to wait another month to get to us?
but they're not gonna open yet, I wouldn't think.
No, I know, but I mean, if we know there's a problem, we should, just to be fair to them,
Yeah.
we should have
Right,
somebody
right.
tell them, hey, check
Well-
this provision of the bylaw.
No, I agree, Peter. I'm not opposed to that at all.
Do we, Beth, do we have a contact there?
I'm not sure. I started when all the Starbucks stuff had already gone through permits, but I'm sure I can get a contact through the building department.
Yeah, right on this. Maybe even
What
get
is-
a hold of the architect
Okay.
and just that.
Plus, they've got a yard sign, don't they? Did they get to have a standing sign and a roof and a building sign, or just, don't they have to pick one or the other? Or is that not in DCBC? Or in whatever that zone is?
I
down
think they can have a freestanding and a wall
there?
sign.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna have their classic circle sign up on the gay bend.
Oh,
Well, that ought to be it then, right? One on the building, one in the yard.
signs.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know.
Does the building department review these and reject some before they send them to us, or do they just automatically pass them?
They just pass them on.
Well, okay. Then I don't know why we're waiting. Why,
Because it's still a pending sign. On the,
pending what?
I don't know. They've put it into here, but they haven't put it on our
Agenda,
docket yet.
yeah.
It's in the permit eyes, but not on our docket, and it says status pending.
What does that mean? Does that mean pending before us or pending with them?
Pending, there's been no inspector assigned to it.
Oh,
So I
okay.
think they have to do that first.
Okay. So could we just ask Beth to talk to Don Fitzgerald or whoever it is and
Yeah.
say that we did an informal review and it looks like there might be some problems with too many signs and a sign on the roof? We're not judging anything, but it jumped out at us as a question. Is that all right, Buck?
Yeah. Yep. Very good. Okay. Minutes?
I motion to accept the
I have one,
minutes.
I have one very small change to suggest. On page 2 in the bike path hearing. In the first line, Beth, you say, Member Blum discussed extending what is normally a bike path. It isn't, I want to strike out what is normally those 4 words, and put in instead extending the quote, a proposed end quote bike path. Because it doesn't exist now. It's
It might not
just,
either for a while.
it's just bushes, yeah.
Okay.
How many of us will be alive when it's finally built?
That and other places, Peter.
You know, I was thinking about it today as I was looking at the agenda. The United States fought World War II in less time than is going to elapse from now until that path
Oh,
is built.
I know,
And it's already 25% design.
I know, I know. I read the Eagle
Oh.
article today online. I almost fainted when they said that. Oh.
So how
well.
was the hearing?
Oh, it was good. It was quite a bit more limited than I expected. It was a hearing by the Highway Department, and they were looking for input on what they call a 25% design,
Okay.
which they have. There's a company that's been working on it and has produced maps and has a layout of where they're proposing the bike path will go. And there'll be, I think, 3 different accesses. One from, Kathy was there too. She can correct me if I've got it wrong. 3 different accesses. One was from at the northern end behind the Lee Bank. And then a midpoint off the rec field where there'll be some parking and a handicapped access. And then the southern point will be at the big Y on the sidewalk. And it'll travel mostly along the riverbank. And the transportation people, the highway people have it planned for construction in 2026, during the 2026 season, which is 18 years after Lee voted to create a bike path committee. But we're on the ticket. We got it. It's moving. So they wanted to know what we thought of it. I said I thought it was great, and I made some comments about how I don't think it'll actually be used as much for bicycling as it'll be used for other things. You know, people walking, people taking their babies out in strollers, that sort of thing. There was Kathy's here, so she can reiterate. what she said.
I was actually on it also listening. And
Okay.
yeah, I thought, Peter, your comments were very, very good. And I enjoyed it. It was nice to see. But yeah, for such a short stretch, it's amazing that it's going to take that long.
And so there's going to be, the next phase is going to be something called a 75% design, and then there's going to be 100% design. And then there's going to be a contract period with the right spec, send out, pick the bidder, and it's all going to take years. And Dave, you probably know this inside out, all this process. But anyway, they wanted to hear comments. The comments were generally favorable. People were a little impatient about how long it was taking, but there was enthusiasm. And the big question is where the town has to get the right of way. And it's not clear at all yet whether that's going to be easy or hard. There's one place that seems to think that it's a bad idea to have a bike path crossing their property. From my work on the bike path committee years ago, I know that there were a lot of people who were thinking about even maybe donating rights of way at zero cost.
I was on when I heard that discussion about how it's going to hurt, and I was just like stunned. I'm not saying everyone has a right to their opinion, and I could be wrong, but boy, I don't see how it could be a negative. But
yeah, so I don't think I mean, I'm happy to report to you any more details you want, but I don't think we need to take a position right now unless you want to. I was expecting I would ask you to take a position in support, but I think it's, unless you want to do more than what I did as an individual, I don't think it's required. I think the process is going to roll forward, and it's, low gear.
Okay.
And we'll just hear more eventually.
Peg?
Peg's got her hand up.
Yep, Peg?
Oh, I was just gonna say, years ago, when they did over Housatonic Street, the people did give away, not give away. The town came by with Bob Nason orchestrated it, and people just signed off that they could do it. Plant the trees, do whatever. And everybody was in agreement on that one. And the other thing I will add, it doesn't have to do with this, but they are going to tear up the red sidewalks that have been put in on Housatonic Street and Park Street. I don't know if you know that or not, but they just redid the whole area this summer, tore them up. Anyways, now they're gonna tear them up, blacktop them over, and then in the spring, I guess, they're gonna spray something on them so they don't make so much noise. So the DOT is very interesting in many ways.
That's for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, so, back to the minutes. Is that the only change, Peter?
Yeah,
we
Motion
have
to
a motion.
approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Peter seconds. Peg,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
and Buck, aye. Let's see, any other business? Beth, you had an email go around about requesting this video and transcripts and everything. It happens all the time for
Yeah.
all of it.
Yes.
So, and it'd be CTSB will put on their server for us.
Yeah, so they reached out and said, since they do the selectmen's, they were more than happy to post any other boards meetings on their website. We were just maybe trying to eliminate the constant like record requests to us. If they were already
Mhm.
posted on the CTSB, then people could use that as a reference.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, it's tricky because when I get the recordings, I use them to do the minutes. But once I do the minutes and the minutes are accepted, the recordings get deleted. But this way they would stay on CTSB for as long as they keep them on.
Okay,
Oh,
and it's just the file, just moving a file for you, right?
Yes.
All right.
So Beth, when that gets done, do people download and stream it on demand? Is that the way it works, or do we get programming time?
No, you can just, they have a whole section of the meetings and you can just download and watch it.
So we won't be on TV, but people can download it anytime they want.
Yeah.
I think it's great. I think it may improve the public input. You know, we have these public hearings and nobody comes, or hardly anybody comes. And maybe there'll be a little bit more engagement.
Could hope.
Hope is eternal.
it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not opposed to it. I think it's great as long as it's not, it's easy for Beth, right? It's easy for you. Good.
And it,
Fine.
well,
Sure.
certain things probably will get scrutinized under a microscope, so we'll be prepared for that. It's okay. All right, anything else?
So we're waiting. Can I just, can I?
Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. We're waiting for the thing that Beth is gonna look into with Chris Britton. And then we're
Code 360, yes.
the code's 360, and then we'll be done with that and the perspective bylaws that we've been working on. And
Hope so.
then hopefully we'll get on an agenda for them at some point in time.
An
I mean, or
agenda.
well, we'll be on something so people can vote on them, or the reps, however it works.
Right. The
Is-
warrant if there's a town meeting, all that'll be on the warrant. Yes,
There's going to be a special town meeting one way or the other.
All right, so then there
There's,
will be,
there's going to be. We can't do them both.
it doesn't seem possible to me.
We can't do them
I mean-
all in one meeting.
no,
It'd just be, and then plus the charter thing has got to be done too. So we could do the charter and all our bylaws in one special town meeting, and then hold a regular one in May. Hopefully we'll be back to normal and the town can do just a regular town meeting.
And the other thing, I thought I heard, no, I may be wrong, and somebody can correct me. I thought I heard that Mr. Pignatelli, representative, has put the thing into the hopper to get the, do away with the reps, go to open town meeting, and that we may be voting on that at the May election. Did you, anybody else hear that, or was?
Possibly. We're waiting. It has
Okay.
been it has been submitted. We're waiting to hear back officially from the state, and that's all.
And then we may be voting on that, because
Yeah.
it has to come to the people in the town of Lee.
Yeah, they assume that will be it, that it'll be coming back to us with on the election to vote for it. Correct.
All right, so people can vote one way or the other, or whatever, but that's a timeline, so. And then it would have to go to the Attorney General, and then she or he, whoever the Attorney General is, has to approve it, and then.
right.
I mean,
Any
it does,
changes, any changes won't happen until 2022
right, so it doesn't happen
or
overnight.
2023. Sorry.
Yeah, because we're being 2022.
Yeah.
Okay,
Very soon.
thank you. Thanks a lot.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'd just like to ask you to put on the next agenda, I know it's late now, but on the next agenda, maybe we can talk about what our schedule might be for reviewing this.
For
Oh,
what?
you locked up, Peter.
For what?
I'm sorry, you froze on me. Could you hear me?
No.
No,
Oh, I'm getting a message that my connection is unstable. I just want to ask that at the next meeting, we allocate an item to discuss the schedule for the sign bylaw. I think we need to talk about several aspects of that in detail and figure out who's going to draft up a proposal.
I agree. Yes. Well, right.
And could I, even if we didn't get the whole sign bylaw done, we could maybe get the part that the ACLU is going to be looking at in the spring. And that would be easy to do, I think.
Well, you tell me how it's easy. Give me a ball.
Well, no, we could even adopt one that has been adopted in another town, Peter. You could look it over and see what you think. There were 3 that Jeremiah gave us. I'm not talking about the whole sign bylaw. I'm just talking about political signs, because they have added constitutional rights that other
Yes, I
signs do not. So I'm just saying that at least that would be, I mean, to do the whole sign bylaw, I don't know, can we get that done by, I mean, it does take us a long time to do anything, which is good, because then it's
Like-
done now.
I think we work on our problem areas. We've seen some stuff with the gas stations. Problem area there.
Okay.
The freedom of speech signs.
Yes,
We
okay.
can group those together.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
think we could do it?
I
Okay,
mean, peck away at pieces rather than, do you think, Peter, I don't think we have to rewrite the whole sign bylaw, do you?
I don't think we have to rewrite it all, no, but I think that there are definitional things that we want to look at. And there are
Definitely.
issues that I don't know, I just don't know what sections will be affected. It may be only a few sections. You may be able to patch something on top, I don't know. It just depends on your aesthetic sense. My sense is that when I write something that makes a basic change to the sign bylaw that affects potentially every sign in town, you want to look at everything and not just pile some notwithstanding thing on
Okay.
top of it and hope that it doesn't topple over. But that's just my aesthetic sense. I like to be thorough about it, but, you know, as you all know, sometimes thorough can take a long time, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we'll put that on the agenda for next meeting.
we're still moving faster than the highway department.
Yeah,
the DOT.
Mass
That's it.
DOT, that's right. Okay, anything else, folks?
Move to
No.
adjourn.
Second.
Second, need one.
Take
Okay,
care.
yeah, thank you. I gotta-